Peace, peace, peace. What's good? I am putting it out there that those who are meant to connect with this video will and are. And it'll leave you with a little sense, not even just a little, with a big feeling of not feeling alone in this world that can be very confusing, that can feel alone. And it's more specifically that I'm talking about when you or when you are awakening to this matrix, to this real reality that we really live in. When you start really questioning everything that it is that we have been taught to do, to think, to say, to believe, to not believe, just all these things. When you start to question all these programs, all these ways of being that we've been taught. We've been taught how to be, we've been taught how to think, which it's a public thing where that was the big plan, to teach the masses how to think. And when you realize that so much of what we do and so much of pretty much everything that we are brought up in I don't even know how to word this. Pause. Okay, so yeah, this kind of brings me back to two videos that I posted yesterday about how backwards this life is when you really begin to wake up and start questioning a bunch of things and really realizing the reality of this, that there isn't, that truly exists, and what sometimes I make things more complicated. When we wake up to these things, this world does seem very confusing, and it can feel very alone, because it's like 1 out of every 100 people that might understand you, that might understand you and connect with what you are really growing through what you're transcending through, from coming out of the matrix, from I mean, we can't exactly fully exit the matrix. Not right now. But when you start to wake up and realize you are in the matrix, it can be a really heavy thing to experience. It can be a really heavy thing to experience, and so that's why I'm making this video right now. Disclaimer, I'm like super tired right now. I'm super tired, but for some reason, this is just on my mind, so I'm deciding to just speak my mind and record it. Yeah. Before I fall asleep, I'm talking about waking up right now. I'm waking up and being in the matrix. I'm just here to remind you that you're not alone. You're not alone in what you're experiencing. You're not alone in all these things that you're waking up to, that you're starting to question, that you're starting to tap yourself out of. And all of these programs that you're starting to dismantle, the programs that you're realizing are even programs. I know, obviously, you have to first learn that there's a program to even realize what's in the program. In order to watch a program and experience a program on the TV, you got to turn on the TV and choose a program. Whether it's a movie, whether it's a whatever program it is, whatever program it is. And so the awakening to all these programs that not that we were programmed to, because everything's a choice and we chose this reality. We chose to come here to this earth and to experience these programs. And we also chose to have the choices of awakening to these programs, to be able to choose what programs we want to live by, live through, and experience in this human experience. And I know it's difficult. Trust me, I know it's difficult. I feel like there's been so many times where I just keep awakening and awakening. I feel like once you start waking up the first time, it just keeps coming and coming and coming. It just never ending things that you just begin to wake up to and realize and acknowledge and reflect and remember, resonate with. And the more that you start dismantling these programs, the more you're conscious of them when you see them, when you feel them, when you are able to observe them. You become able to observe these programs. I keep having to pause because I'm trying to filter through all of this that's going through my mind, through my heart. And filter it into words. But basically, I'm just get down to the point of it. I really just want to share. I really just want to share with whoever connects with this video that I want to remind you that you're not alone, that you aren't alone, that you aren't crazy, that what you're feeling deserves for you to value it, for you to honor it, for you to pay attention to, observe it. And that kind of just reminds me a little bit of being able to discern when we're observing and when we're absorbing. Don't absorb energy unless it's things that you want. Not that you want, but things that are good for your greatest, for your most highest self, for your most greatest good, for your most aligned version. Not that it's good or bad version or anything, just the most aligned, the most centered version with who you truly are. I know that I definitely had to learn a balance with what to observe and what to absorb, and how much and how deep, when to know when to go deep in my observing, and when to also just not take what I observe too serious. And the same thing with the absorbing, knowing what to absorb, when to absorb it, how much of it to absorb. Everything is about finding a balance. And just as this life, we came here to rebalance with ourselves, who we truly are, what we truly are, to remember who we truly are. And when we begin to remember who we truly are, it can really feel alone, because you realize how a lot of things in this world are created to keep us more further away from who we truly are, more disconnected from who we truly are, what we truly are, why we came here, why we exist, for what reasons, for what purposes. And in the point of time that we live in right now, not the point of time because time is just doesn't really exist, but in this phase of this evolution we're on as a collective, many people are awakening to all these truths and this reality. And at the same time, there's still so many that are more majority that are still just completely asleep in the matrix. And that's why it could feel like you are alone. And the more that you begin to tap into and awaken to all these things and see life beyond these lenses they want you to see this life under, the more that you do that, the more that you a lot of times you feel backlash. You feel like nobody understands you. You feel like you're the odd man, the odd person out. Like you are that, when they say the black sheep. Black sheep in the family, black sheep in the room, whatever it is. It's funny, I'm wearing black right now. I don't usually wear black. And that's a part of waking up. Because also, the more disconnected we get from the plugs in the matrix and unplug ourselves, the more we're actually plugging back into ourselves and the connection to everything. Because what's funny is, of course, I can only share this from because I've experienced it. I experience it, and I don't know if I ever will stop experiencing all the backlash and all just feeling like the only person in the room who it's like you really are the odd one out. But through all this, even through that of feeling like the odd one out and people looking at you a certain way, and telling you you're extreme, and just ridiculing you, and how you think, and the way you just don't participate in all these things, that you realize what they truly are, and decided to take your power back and live in power of being the only one, if you need to be, that's not doing all these things that thousands, millions of people are doing. Like right now, it's this in the Gregorian calendar, it's New Year's right now. And I don't care if everybody else in the world is, as we say, celebrating this, as they say, holiday. But for me, it's like those are all hollow days, and they're. Eh, mm. I don't care if I'm the only one not participating in that. I don't care. I don't care if people look at me and say whatever they want to say about me, and see me as if I'm just ridiculous. Because I know that's. I observe a lot of energy. I feel a lot of energy. I. I just know. I just know. Even if there's no words saying it, I just. Energy doesn't lie to me. So, even through all that, and knowing that people are giving out this energy or even saying these things that are not, maybe I will probably say they're not nice behind my back or when I'm not there. Even through all that, plugging out of the matrix is a big part of it, is still just having compassion, reminding myself that, hey, you know what? At some point, I was like that too. At some point, I didn't understand. For example, like, I didn't know what the heck it was to not eat anything that isn't electric food, which is like, it was all brand new to me. Like, wait, what do you mean there's different fruits and vegetables that weren't naturally created and aren't actually healthy for you? Like, what do you mean? It's crazy how, when you really begin to think about everything that you unlearn, and how at some point you had no idea what was really going on, also. At some point, I didn't know all these things that I know now. And the more that I learn and wake up to and tune into, it's like it really shows me how much I have no idea about. And I also remind myself all the time when I come across people who maybe look at me a certain way, or maybe they look down on me, or I know it's just coming from a really big state of confusion because they don't understand it, and it's not something that we were taught. So how can I expect, just like me, like, it's what I was taught. it's what it's what we were all taught, most of us, for the majority. And so another thing that I remind myself, as I was trying to say, is that there's so many others out there who know a lot more of different things than I do in different areas. Heck was that? In different areas, and I wouldn't want them to look at me a certain way or look down on me, or belittle me in their mind just because I don't know what they know at their level. And so if I don't want others to be unkind in that way with me, then I need to also remind myself to be kind and gentle and compassionate with others, and be empathetic, and know that, remind myself that everyone's on their own journey, and my journey is my own, and everyone else is going through their own too. And so, as you awaken through your journey and remember who you are and remember why you came here to experience this life, remind you that you're not alone, that there's many of us who feel that same way too, and we're needed to have our energy be this way because everything has a balance to everything, and we're balancing out energies in different ways. And regardless of what people want to say or how they want to think of you or whatever it is, it doesn't matter, because again, they're on their own journey. And at some point or another, I realized in my own journey, and maybe you have already had hints of that in yours, where it could be, sometimes it could be the next day, 2 months, a year, a few years, where later they end up realizing they come through their own spiritual awakening or just self-realization or self-remembrance, and they come back to that conversation that they had with you that one day where they realize, like, wait, hold on, they were actually speaking truth. They were actually sharing value of, that all comes down to the true essence of us just reconnecting with ourselves, reconnecting with everything that we are in this universe, the nature of everything, the synchronicities of life, and resonating, the resonance, coming in balance and coherence with this resonance of everything. Just like when we realign ourselves with nature and the times of nature, like spring, when everything blooms, align ourselves with that, when everything begins to bloom, and set our different things that we want to create around then. But that's a whole other topic. Yeah, so I'm just reminding you to continue holding space for your journey and where you are, and don't feel small, don't feel little, don't feel like you are odd. And if you're odd, be odd. It's okay. We need to be odd, because without the odds, there's no even knowing that there's any evens. Without the evens, there's no knowing that there are odds. Everything is a part of this game that we're all playing together. So try not to take it so serious. Try not to take other people's comments and their energy towards you so serious either. It's also a part of waking up in the matrix. Realize that they're just still plugged in. And it's not our job or our duty or our responsibility to unplug anybody. We all have the choice and the free will to unplug ourselves at whatever time or not. Doesn't matter anyway. All that matters is what you choose to do with your life. Doesn't matter what anybody has to say about it or think about it either. You do you, boo. And let them do them. Live for you. Love yourself. Know thyself.